All right, Reggie. It's been a while since we've been back on camera, so as usual, if there's anything you want to speak on or talk about before we get going, let me know.
No. I just wanted to say we back. I gave all you YouTubers a chance to build your channels up. That comes on at 9 a.m. in the morning. But y'all better change y'all time now, because I'm back. 9 a.m. every day, Pacific Standard Times. So, appreciate y'all hanging in there with us. But we're back. That's all I got to say. Shout out a couple of people. I'm out in Newport Beach right now, actually celebrating my wife's 55th birthday. So I know a couple of y'all, my Instagram friends and my Facebook friends, y'all go in there and check out what we've been doing, because we've been having a great weekend since Thursday. And today is actually Monday, so we're having a good time. My girl Lisa Woodson, my good friend, one of my closest friends, his wife's birthday as well. So shout out Lisa and Teresa. Happy birthday, and we've been celebrating it all weekend in Newport Beach, having a great time. Man. Y'all know we broke some breaking news Saturday about Young Noble from the Outlaws passing away. And just want to once again give out condolences and shout out to his kids. And I believe he was still married to Janella, a young lady that he met while he was on death row with us. That was actually one of Hammer's dancers. That cool chick. She even became the receptionist, once death row started declining, some would say. But shout out to them, and rest in peace to them, and condolences, and whatever the appropriate word to say. Yeah, Young Noble. We'll talk about him more later in the week. But yeah, shout out Noble.
Okay. Suge did an interview recently with People.com. And in this interview, he talked about Tupac being in the hospital after the Vegas shooting. And he said a couple of things I wanted to get your take on. He mentioned that Afeni gave Tupac pills to try to help him pass, and that Tupac was sitting up in the hospital asking Suge for a blunt, and that he asked Suge to off him when he was in the hospital. Did you read that interview or see it?
I saw it. You know, the unfortunate thing about it is when major publications like that, big YouTube channels and all of that, when they're going to interview you and they giving you, a favor or giving you some money, usually from the YouTuber channels, the first thing they ask you is, what's shocking? What is something shocking can you say? What can you say to make this go viral? And unfortunately, I really believe that's what happened to Suge in this situation. Suge speaks a lot of truth on things that happen. He actually do. But as I always said, he adds salt and pepper and hot sauce and stuff like that to every story lately. And that's because he done ran out of stories. In his mind, he think he has. He hasn't. But he can't really think of them until YouTubers or people bring it up to him, and then they put their spin on it, and then they believe it, to go that way. So I'm saying all that to say, Suge has never, and I'm telling you, I probably in the 90s and the 2000s talked to Suge more than anybody in his life. Anybody on this planet Earth, except maybe his cellie in prison. But I might even tap him on that because I did 2 or 3 years for him before going to prison talking to him. Suge Knight ain't never said that. Okay, y'all will say, well, maybe he just decided to put it out now. Then why? If she did do that, to try to, do a mercy, taking a life of Tupac, why would he put that out? Why? Why now? Suge has never said that. The part about Afeni saying that, do not resuscitate her son anymore if he ever, you know, if he had to get reset, if he had to be brought back to life again. She did give the order to the doctor not to do that anymore. She gave everybody notice that on Friday, she was going to take him off life support, and everybody needed to come and say their goodbyes. That, was invited, such as Snoop, because Snoop did come that Friday morning. I don't know why she keeps saying he never came, and he didn't come to the house and talk to Afeni and Snoop and all of them like they said. I don't know where those things coming from. But Suge and Afeni did talk, but it wasn't with Snoop. All right. The answer to the question is, or just to, because I know a lot of y'all, oh, well, that's his story, Reggie. Let him tell the story. Why you always feel you got to correct him? Well, because if you want the truth, then you come over here. Because I don't want to bring either receipts or I'm going to bring, hopefully, there's something to make you think. So he's saying, I guess this would have had to happen sometime Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, right? Because Afeni definitely wasn't in Vegas. So she had to get on a plane from Atlanta and come there, right? Have we heard anybody, I think there's audio or footage or something out there where Suge even talked about the last thing that he said when they were joking in the ambulance, which I don't believe, was you bleeding from your head and all of this. And he told those stories. But have you heard anyone say a day later Tupac was talking, asking for a blunt, being able to ask someone to unalive him? Do you, have y'all heard anybody say that? No, Tupac was going through surgeries. He was had his whole inside in his chest split wide open. Anyone that ever went to the hospital room, all these people that claim they went to visit him and all of that, they tell you he was open, cut open, wide open. Man, Suge's a motherfucking liar. He's trying to do this to go viral and to get clicks or to get Keffe D free for whatever reason. Because he hates Reggie and Snoop and all of these people, David Kenner now, so much he'd rather take it off of Keffe and now, because he always has. He always he could have been in that Keffe D put in jail if he was a real friend. Fuck that street code gangster shit. He was supposed to be a millionaire. He know who he saw. He talked to me on the phone and told me, Red, why is that nigga saying you did that shit or had something to do with that? He's saying he wasn't there? Is that what he said, Reg? Say I'm lying. Nigga, this was a conversation when Keffe first came out with that bullshit, blaming it on me. So, hey, I don't know. I know y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all want to hear the sensationalized stories. But for the few that want to hear the truth, and for the family and all of that, Miss Shakur Afeni did not give Tupac no pills. I would bet my life on it. She did not do that. And for anyone that supposedly loved Tupac, because he loved his mama, he loved his family, how can y'all support somebody that's blaming his own mother? And some of y'all will say maybe because it's a mercy killing. True or not, it shouldn't be spoken on by nobody else. Shit like that you take to the grave. Peace bomb first.
Okay. I wanted to get your thoughts because, as far as I know, I don't think we talked about it at all. The Diddy verdict came in, and he was guilty on 2 charges, but not guilty on RICO. I wanted to get your thoughts on the verdict, but also where you feel like the prosecution maybe didn't have what they think they had, or maybe just fumbled in court.
Well, all those YouTube attorneys, myself included, we all been saying they overcharged. And it's obvious that they overcharge adding that RICO, because we know RICO from our upbringing and training and stuff like that as mafia related. Meaning Reggie, John, Michael, Mark, Janet, Abraham, all these people did something in concert for a long time to, for RICO. We don't just know of a one-person RICO or an unindicted co-conspirator. We ain't never heard of no stuff like that. So I totally get why the jury was like, RICO. It's not a RICO. That's not what we watch on TV. That ain't what we saw in the Goodfellas and John Gotti and all of them. It's funny, everybody saying, Diddy beat the government. Diddy beat the government. Diddy ain't beat no government. He's still going to go do some time. And I'll break the timeline, what I believe is going to happen down towards the end of this video. But he didn't beat the government. Who beat the government was Gotti now. They beat the government. But Murder Inc. But Diddy, well, I'll go ahead and talk about the time. Diddy is going to get sentenced. Guarantee y'all. Y'all can listen to whoever y'all want out there. Anywhere sentence, and I'm just saying total time, about 51 months. 48 months to 51 months, which is 4 years. Okay? Diddy's going to be in jail in almost a year to 3 months when he finally gets sentenced. So let's go with 48 months. Take away 13. So what that leaves you? 35 months? And then you have something. The feds came out. Y'all give Donald Trump credit for it. But actually it was Obama that had this. It's something called the First Step Act. Even though Donald Trump is the one that signed it in law his first term. And the First Step Act pretty much talks about anyone over the age of 50 years of age, their time come from 85% to 50%. And I believe those are cases that's in the feds that are nonviolent. I don't think the hiring for prostitution is considered a violent crime. So we take 48 months, so we down to 35 months. Half of that is 17 and a half months, right? All y'all gonna hear Diddy doing is no more than 18 months. There's a program in there called the RDAP. That's when people get to go and take a drug class while they're in prison. They do that program, and you get a year off your sentence, and you get guaranteed, I believe it's 6 months halfway house. So if he got 18 months, he get a year off. Once he do the RDAP program, Diddy could be out of there. Really, after he do the RDAP program, I forget how long because it takes a little minute to get accepted into the RDAP program. But Diddy can possibly only have to do about another 8 months in prison before he's eligible to go to a halfway house. So don't be surprised. Remember, y'all heard this first here on Bomb First. I know a lot of y'all, and I was saying, and we all thought he was done and put a fork in him and all of that. Well, yeah, because we all thought he was drugging women, and that was gonna come out in the courts. I don't think they proved that. They proved that everybody was a willing participant. I think we all thought that there were gonna be some kids brought up into this. Well, I know we done heard some allegations in civil cases about kids, but the prosecution didn't bring any of that up in the criminal part. So that's why I feel Diddy got off didn't get convicted for the RICO and the sex trafficking and all of that. So I think the government is happy. They did what they want Because the ultimate goal is to try to get into your pockets and to embarrass you. And trust me, Diddy and his family is very, very embarrassed right now. But one thing about the United States government, we are a forgiving society. Ask Michael Vick. Ask a lot of people. Ask Suge Knight. Look at y'all now. Y'all over there forgiving Suge Knight. We'll be hating you 1 minute, and the next minute, you're the biggest star in America. So, I'm not counting Diddy out yet. I just wouldn't want my daughters or my nieces around that fool. Shout out P. Diddy.
Okay. Just last week, Keffe D was denied a new trial. He was trying to get a new trial for the jailhouse incident that he had, the brawl or whatever that was caught on surveillance video. I wanted to hear if you saw that, and if so, what your reaction to what the judge said about no new trial.
Well, see what happened, and I'm so glad the prosecution, thanks to who? Yeah, they know who to thank. Exposed to them how this particular person who's supposed to be overheard all of this is someone who's been doing documentaries and first blaming everybody else, but now he's little Keffe D and Keffe D's best friend, because all he care about is doing his documentaries. But they saw through it. John, I don't have it in hand, but I would love for you to read if you get a chance to go on the Murder Rap page, because I know they did a great job of breaking it down, of all the things the prosecution brought up and said this, but didn't you do this, filmmaker? Didn't you do this, filmmaker? You know, it was stuff like, you set up a GoFund page or a page to raise money for him. Didn't you do this? Didn't you do this? And so they saw through it. The judge saw through it. The juries or the people on the jury denied any of those type of conversations. I told y'all when it came out that Carpet Head, and y'all want to see why I call him Carpet Head? Because this wasn't on his channel. So I can put it up.
Attorneys say that a local filmmaker claimed to overhear a juror discussing jailhouse fighting, violating the court's instructions not to discuss the case while it was in progress.
It was a mid-sentence comment or a mid-sentence statement that in jailhouse fights that the little guy has to, and I remember the words distinctly, work harder in a jailhouse fight because he has a reputation that he has to keep. And that was the substance of what I heard as I walked by.
Each juror was called into the courtroom where they denied the allegations. Davis is still awaiting trial for the murder charge in Shakur's 1996 killing.
Y'all see this? If anybody y'all know who that clown is, y'all would know he looked like this, Uncle Fester. You know the character, Uncle Fester? That's how he actually looked like until I talked so bad about him, because he always coming on our channel calling people the N-word, and he just an outright money-hungry racist, in my opinion. The things that him and Frank fell out about at the end, all of that stuff. But they knew. They knew. He's just trying to make a buck. He created something lying. Little Keffe, the things that little Keffe D said in that courtroom, I wouldn't care if it was a lie or whatever. That's his daddy. He's supposed to do it. I have no problem with what little Keffe did to trying to help get his father free. But for this man to go and lie on jury members or people just so he can get his little 1 minute of fame, want to always insert himself into all of these cases and stuff, well, I'm glad he finally got exposed. A lot of people didn't see it. Unfortunately, this particular hearing happened on the same day that Diddy was found not guilty on 3 of the 5 charges. But hey, we're going to expose it over here. What happens to Keffe? I know it's got to continue. Who cares? Nobody cares what happened in the jailhouse fight. I actually don't have a problem with what, from everything that I hear of what Keffe did, defending himself in that prison fight. I was actually kind of proud of him. But I just can't wait till February the 15th when that hearing starts. So everybody can finally hear the truth. The things that YouTubers and people like that hadn't heard yet comes out. That's what I'm waiting on. So we'll see.
Yeah, the Associated Press covered it, and just to quote them, they said both Davis's son, Dwayne Davis Jr., and the quote-unquote self-described journalist, Richard Bond, testified on Wednesday about hearing the jurors' comment in the hallway outside of the courtroom on the final day of a 2-day trial in April. But it was also revealed when the prosecution questioned the men separately. They considered each of them, Keffe's son and RJ, they considered each other friends. Bond had been sending money to both Dwayne Davis and his son, and that Bond had advised Keffe D to fire his attorney. And they actually asked RJ Bonds, "Have you ever taken a class on journalistic ethics?" In which he responded, "No, I have not."
You know what, though? I finally agree with something that RJ has said. Finally has. Keffe D do need to fire that attorney. Don't y'all remember? That attorney called Keffe D a kingpin. A kingpin in Compton. Even if he was, which he wasn't, I tell y'all. If anybody know my history, I know the kingpins in Compton. He was not a kingpin. He was a connect, but he was not a kingpin. But even if he was, do you admit that in open court? Peace, Bond first.
Okay, it seems that Reggie Suge Knight is upset with you for saying that he used Big Jake as a shield. Did you see where he was upset about this, and do you have any comments or response?
Yeah. I've been saying this for the last 5 or 6 years. That Suge is getting all this information from people, you know, and when you have a conversation with people, it never comes back exactly, unless it's recorded, how you say stuff. And so I insinuated, some would say if you half listen to it, but listen to it now. This is what I said. Well, she was catching a lot of heat back in the hood. No, y'all don't know about all of that. No politics and stuff. But those West Side dudes and those Campanellas really heard the story from people that they know. How Suge took Big Jake and threw him in front of him when they were trying to shoot and used him as a body shield. So what I said is people from Big Jake's neighborhood or the West Side, Suge was catching a lot of heat because it was rumored or believed. I have never said. The clown, that clown shot up, that clown, boy, that clown, he think he could. See, things that rattle you motherfuckers on YouTube, it don't shake me. It don't make me move. He thinking he threatened to put out my home address and other people. See, that shit don't bother me because I wish one of you punk motherfuckers would come to my house or come to my mom and daddy house. That'll give me a reason to hunt your ass down. Right? So he up there calling people like D-Dog and all of them. Hey, this is Reggie address, which is so, I ain't lived in a house that he claiming it over since at least 2018, 2019. But, so that just show you how much of a clown he is. But people like that is the ones that's reporting stuff back to him, and they don't tell Suge the things that I exactly say. Now, I know Suge ain't that sharp, so he's not going to comprehend it anyway, because he always half listens anyway. But if y'all really listen to what Reggie say, Reggie don't really shit on nobody unless you shit on him. Or Reggie just say things. He'd never say he was somewhere where he wasn't, or what that. He'd say the rumors, what I heard, what I believe, what was being said and reported in the streets. See, when you out there in Australia or New York or other towns like that, you don't know what's been said in the streets of Compton. But when you from Compton, work Compton, deal with Compton people, you hear the rumors. And that's all I said. So y'all listen again. This is what's said. Well, she was catching a lot of heat back in the hood. No, y'all don't know about all of that. No politics and stuff. But those West Side dudes and those Campanellas really heard the story from people that they know. How Suge took Big Jake and threw him in front of him when they were trying to shoot and used him as a body shield. You know, I heard him say about the no carry guns thing. This is what Frank was actually said, Shug. Hopefully you have someone interpret this for you.
In this particular time when I got to Vegas the night before September 6th, on September 7th, we had a meeting at this attorney's office. And at this attorney's office, his name was George Clinesis, something like that. And we were told by him, this attorney, that we couldn't carry our guns and this and that, you know, blah, 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 to the club that night. And it was three of us, like Michael Moore was one of them, myself and Al Gittins, who is still with Snoop to this day, said, no, we carrying our guns. We're gonna, we worked it out to where we were gonna carry our guns, but we were gonna have to leave them in our car while we were inside the club. Okay, and that's how my gun ended up in my car and not on my person that day. And I didn't have time to get my gun because my gun was on the other side of the valet where I had parked earlier that day. And when Pac and Suge was ready to go, they were ready to go. You know, and I couldn't get to my car. I had a SL 500 also, you know, at that time, and I couldn't get to it, so I didn't have it. You know, and Pac, I was getting in the car with Pac and Suge. I literally had my hand on the back door, opening the back door. And Pac stopped me and turned and said, hey, Frank, here's the keys to Kadada's car. You go drive with the Outlaws so you could be our designated driver.
Reggie ain't never told no security. Y'all heard it. Reggie ain't never told no security not to carry no guns that was working no bodyguard detail or anywhere. It was the person you had me working with to try to get your club the license that told them that. Now, attorney shouldn't be telling no right way employees, you know, what to do and what they shouldn't do. Yeah, well, but that's who made the statement. And it wasn't the bodyguards. It was the people working inside of a nightclub, which I agree with. If I ran a nightclub right now, I don't want 30 idiots in a club with guns. Next time y'all go to a nightclub, look around. Y'all see most of those guys that's working inside clubs don't have guns on them. Well, why? Why they don't have guns? Because you get into fights. You get rack packed. Now you done did all this great job of searching at the door. One of your security guards get the gun taken from them. And now you got a nut possibly on with a gun that can hurt a lot more people in there. I know it's too deep for a lot of y'all. I know a lot of y'all experts know better, but trust me. Trust Reggie motherfucking Wright. It's not smart to have clubs or to go to clubs with guns or anywhere where guns is inside a controlled environment. Try to go to the Staples Center. Or I think it's called something else now, crypto.com or whatever, or the Realm Games or anywhere like that. I don't care if you the FBI, any off-duty police officer, FBI, DEA agent or whatever. They got a gun locker for you to put your gun in. You are not coming in that facility off-duty armed. But you never been through that. So y'all don't understand that. But that's what I believe is the problem with Suge and I. Is a lot of the things that I said until I started attacking and responding back, he being told and being misinformed. But now, Suge can go suck a dick. Fuck him. Things that he done did, and I done heard him say it recently. See you in 9 years, nigga. Hopefully, you'll be able to see me. Because as I heard, well, I ain't gonna tell you what I heard. This picture right here should tell you what I heard. But I also heard you're blind in one eye already, and I lost about 30% vision in the other. Peace.
Okay. This is a little bit old, but we never really touched on it. But I did want to get your thoughts. So it's announced, and they even announced who's going to star in it. That Snoop Dogg has a biopic coming out. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, and if you feel like Snoop will be honest or try to rewrite history when it comes to his biopic.
Well, a lot of us are going to believe that it is true because he's already been rewriting history. He has already started and attempted to rewrite history. So, no, I don't believe he's going to tell the truth. I don't believe he's going to. But you got to remember, the truth is subjective because you may see the things one way, I see a thing another way, and then the way the thing was intended, it might even be another way. But I wouldn't trust Snoop with a Death Row bio. I would trust Snoop with a Snoop Dogg bio, but I wouldn't trust him with a Death Row bio pick. I wouldn't trust Suge in his current state of mind with a Death Row bio pick. I probably wouldn't trust Reggie Wright from his perspective, a Death Row biopic. It's unfortunate. The only thing I would want to hear and see from a biopic done by anyone involved at this current state of time is paperwork. Things that we seen or we saw on videos that were done from that time period. It's unfortunate, but now because of YouTube, now because of stories that has been told on YouTube, it's obvious. All of us saw things a different way. Shout out to Queenie on the series that's been going on Wack100’s. It might have just wrapped up, but she told some things. I heard her call Suge the real Dr. Dre. That story she told about seeing one of Suge's baby mamas getting beat up at the Jodeci concert. Y'all don't remember hearing me tell y'all that story before? Y'all don't remember that, huh? I can honestly say, I thought about that after she said that, and I was trying to think of one of Suge's baby mamas that has not ever been beat up. Y'all heard Sharita say about the cutting the ponytail and all of that. Sharita and Davina had a major case where they shot at each other and or one shot at the other and all of that. I ain't gonna go into that because I really do have love for Sharita. Just disappointed at Sharita. But I can't think of one person that he has a child with that there hasn't been a report of any type of physical abuse. I did think of it because in the 90s, you know, this moving so fast. I would have said that particular person until she brought that up. And I was like, damn, I remember that. At that concert in that back room. I had to bring it up. And shout out to that girl's sister. And her sister's the one that, and she was pregnant at the time. She came and banged on Suge and called him every type of punk nigga he was for hitting on his sister and doing that to his sister. Man. But yeah, Suge always trying to talk about Dre and this person beating up on females. Nigga just as guilty, y'all. Y'all might say, oh, well, you complicit of you. Well, there's a lot of things as I saw came after the fact. But one thing I can say about each one of them, and I don't know if it was that control, so now I maybe can understand why Cassie showed up with Diddy at that particular at that movie premiere or whatever, a couple of days later. I honestly can say later that day or that night, each one of them were back with him. I remember one time he beat this one chick so bad in Vegas. And then we went to the mall. And he went to the mall and bought her every red purse you can think of. And came like, here, baby, I'm sorry. Probably about $30,000 in purses. But I guess that's what abusers do. Oh, yeah. Mr. Knight. Reggie Wright's going to start going deep. Peace.
All right, Reggie. I was randomly looking at some stuff on YouTube, and I saw that it appears that Suge has relaunched a record label called the Row Records, and he's doing it with SKG. They have a couple of YouTube segments up. Did you see this, and do you have any thoughts?
You know, I would have normally not even addressed this video, but then somebody told me, she said, he said, yeah, SKG called me and telling me this and telling me that. And said, Reggie is a very evil, evil person. Evil person. And I was like, damn. Was I evil when she came to my house and had me do an interview with her? I said, for some documentary that she was supposedly about to do. I said, was I evil when this female kept calling me and wanted to expose, and matter of fact, I'm gonna get her on the show, how nasty and dirty she is living out there in Vegas. And you know, this girl that was real close with her wanted to talk bad, and I was like, man, I ain't got no problems with SKG. I'm not trying to get into it. Was I evil then? But what's going on? And she done got a hold of Suge. She supposedly told him she got these investors. And she always talking about she has. But I have never seen her do anything that panned it out. But she always said she got some investors. And she doing these big things and all of that. And, you know, Suge, I told y'all, Suge's is what a modern day whore now. He'll do anything for $1. And so, you know, when he go on a clown show that don't get no views, but was talking about helicopters landed on the Vegas Strip, and Tupac had a body double and all of this. When he'll go on their show, you know, just to make a little pocket change, you know he's a clown. But then I remember when you sent me the text she was DMing you, begging to come on by first, just within the last 6 months. I said, well, I'm an evil man then, and this person. I said, now people just say what they want to say. Because I had very little dealings with her other than, you know, putting her in the house just because Suge wanted to get payback with Stormy because, you know, SKG was from 60s. You know, we always say because she was cool with Key Rock and all that. Man, we was using people as pawns then. Suge knew the only reason he did that because Suge had heard the alleged females, men that Stormy was messing around with. And so he wanted to get back at her by having this little young girl that he never met, saw before in person. He wanted to sign her and give her the name Suge Knight Girl to piss off Stormy. And so, you know, she always say, I never slept with Suge. Well, I bet you I'll take a lie detector test on what happened. And I bet her and Suge can't take a lie detector test on what happened. But that's neither here or there. But hey, I want to do a challenge. We're gonna do a challenge. I bet you that investor deal never come through, and whatever they got going on won't be going on by October. I'm gonna say October the 3rd, Diddy's trial date. Y'all pick the date. Y'all can have some merchandise or whatever you want. You pick it in the comment section. Anything up to $50. You pick the correct date. But when SKG and she'll fall out because she can't come through what she's dingling in front of his head right now. But that's all that is. Hey, hopefully they got something. They make something happen. But I'm willing to bet that they won't. Because that's just what she do and say. Never come through with nothing. I feel bad for her when she was antagonizing Big U. But it's so funny how Suge jumps. He's supposed to be Big U, homeboy, and all of this. Big U probably hate SKG more than he hate anybody. But now look who Suge's friends with. Look who Suge's siding with. That's Suge. That's Suge. I remember when all of this broke, me and Suge was talking. All he said is, woo! Man, Reg. And he won't call me a lie on this because he know what I got. He'd go, man, Reg, I'm so glad I wasn't fucking with that nigga. I ain't fucking with that nigga since 2016 or something like that. I said, nah, nigga. He was talking to that nigga in 2021. But I agree. It wasn't during the time he got indicted for. But he was fucking with Big U still while he was in prison. And all he said, woo, because I would have been all in the middle of that shit. Swear to God. Exact words that he said. But now, because his supposedly Big U's enemy saying she got a few bucks. Now, as you say, I didn't know because I can't watch no shit like that. That they got a partnership together. All right. Good motherfucking luck. Good motherfucking luck. But that's smart. That's crazy. I wonder who got the Row trademark. Who got the Row trademark? But okay. Just like his son, Lil Shia. God forbid him. I mean, God bless his heart. God bless his heart. He's sending out these cease and desist letters to all these different YouTube channels. Embarrassing his daddy name. Embarrassing him. That's all he doing. Had even Vlad. I had to set Vlad straight. I was like, Vlad, that ain't Big Suge sending no letters out. Y'all heard the segment he did with somebody recently. I think it was Wack100’s. But I had to set him straight and say, that's his son, Lil Suge, who thinks just because you use the name Suge Knight in a title or something like that, he's supposed to get paid. Oh my God. Ain't that why his daddy in prison now for 28 years, pushing up on people because they're mad that they use their name or their portrayal in a movie? How did that lawsuit go? How's that lawsuit going? I don't understand why people think they know trademark laws, but don't really understand trademark laws. But all you YouTubers that got that letter, do what I did. Shred it up and laugh at the little young man. Because just because and he hadn't even trademarked the name yet. I researched it and I should have grabbed it and trademarked it. But it don't mean nothing. Now, if he get a trademark and he want to go sell some t-shirts or something like that, I would agree with him. But now, you can't use a person's name in a title, the shit that people be saying, the shit that the people be believing. All right. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that people that's supposed to know the business, that has a legacy, has a name like they do in the business, don't know shit about the business. It's embarrassing. But the janitor, you need some help. The janitor will help you. The security will help you. Oh, security can't help? Wasn't you DOC security at the beginning? You want DOC security? All right. Okay. Peace, Bomb first.
Okay, with the unfortunate passing of Young Noble, I just wanted to see if you had any outlaws or in specific Young Noble stories that you wanted to share as maybe like a kind of a send-off or a tribute to Young Noble, who unfortunately passed away Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to speak on something like that yet until the appropriate people speak on things. But this for the people that say, oh, well, he didn't like you. No way. You didn't know him? No way. John, put up the last few text messages where he and I will talk, just so people can see. That he was ready to do the interview first with Bomb first. Man, he was in communication since 2022. All he referred to me as king. Nothing but positive words and stuff like that. Like, hey, his last statement before I referred him over to Art's channel was how much you and John got to pay me. And I was like, dog, well, everybody that come over here on Bomb first, they get a love offering. They don't get those big payments and all of that. But I got people that you can go and get the bag from. Here's his number. Call him. Or I'll send him your number so he can call you. Y'all see? So for all of you clowns that want to say, oh, y'all wasn't cool like that, well, there go the text messages. Now, in fairness, because I call a ball, a strike a strike, after he did the interview with Art, and I saw the interview, and he said something that kind of went viral about Miss Afeni Shakur, he kind of snapped at me, said something that he never would say, because I was trying to get him to apologize or to clear up, I think is the word I used, something that he said about Afeni, about a song or something. And I said, man, you might need to clear this up. And his response was, I ain't clearing up shit. So when I speak on things and say, Noble changed, he was cool, and then I know a change in him, because y'all seen how he started attacking Edie, Napoleon, did the diss track on Nas, and stuff like that. Is that's all the telltale signs of a young man that either have an addiction or mental health issues, which I don't know the reason for him deciding to allegedly unaliven himself. But it has to be one of that. I debated someone on Facebook or somewhere, and they were saying, man, that's sad. He's not going to be able to go into heaven because he killed himself. Well, for all you Bible-read persons, show me where it says that in the Bible, because it doesn't. But I do agree with you. If you have the ability to unalive yourself or the mindset to do that, then there's something missing in your life or your heart where you possibly not ready or won't be accepted in the kingdom because it's obviously you wasn't saved. So, but hey, we ain't gonna talk about the Bible here. But just for you people that like to debate and say that, just research that. You'll see that it doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible. Now, um, so hopefully John will put up the scripture. I have him put it up and post it for all you people that like to debate and just type in YouTube. If you kill yourself, would you go to heaven, or is that in the Bible? And it'll tell you no. So those of y'all care about noble stuff, uh, just keep praying for him. But that doesn't mean that he won't be possibly getting a chance to go into heaven, especially if it turns out he just has some mental issues. Noble was always cool, y'all. He took on himself. He came on into the group late, mainly after he started doing some verses for Fatal. After Fatal kind of got in trouble at the House of Blues, that was the first time I remember or noticed Noble being other than a rapper.
Okay, Reggie, I saw that Suge and I noticed that other YouTubers do the same thing where they always clown and say why you went to the grand jury in regards to the Tupac case. What are your thoughts on that? Do you have any opinion?
Yeah, I think they all be watching that Tyler Perry movie, Daddy's Little Girl, or New Jack City, where everybody just started raising their hands and said, I'll testify, I'll testify, I'll testify. Well, that's not how it goes, y'all. Actually, the prosecutor, most of them supposedly be secretly. So you're not even supposed to be knowing that a grand jury is going on. But if somehow you do find out, it's usually because the prosecutor subpoenaed you. So it wasn't like I went down there and said, I got something to say about Suge or Tupac, which I ain't said shit bad about Tupac or Suge when I was subpoenaed to go before the grand jury. I wasn't there. I know I wasn't there. I know I was at Club 662. I know I left and went to the hospital with the attorney, George Calise, who's still alive. So I ain't got no worries to say where I was at, where I wasn't at. Y'all got Michael Moore. Michael Moore tell y'all want to listen to that got him shit, right? Where he say he heard that got him shit at. While me and him was getting in the car or inside of the car on the way to the hospital. So, hey, the things that I talked about at the grand jury was an atmosphere that I can testify because I'm an expert in gang activity from the city of Compton. But that's not even why they called me. They called me just to talk about the atmosphere that was going around between Bad Boys and Death Row. So the security didn't know of the atmosphere that was going on between Bad Boys and Death Row. Who else? Who's best to speak on that? The atmosphere that's going around Death Row. I don't know. I would think your security would be, but I know you and your artists don't want to be considered a snitch, would you? But I know you wants to get in front of and get on camera like that clown R.J. Bonds did. He wants to get on the camera like that and talk. Well, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be. Hopefully, they make your ass get on the bus and ride across that hot desert. I think because they had you doing it on Zoom in that civil trial for you, they don't give a fuck about you. Is the reason why you thinking you're gonna be able to act a fool and get some press from that, but you won't. They're gonna make your ass come in that courtroom, and that's gonna be good for your happy black ass. But that's why I got subpoenaed. That's why I went to the grand jury is because I was subpoenaed, not because I wanted to insert myself into an investigation. All right? Okay, clown. I got letters from you, so I understand your educational level.
Speaking on YouTube, YouTube people, Reggie, did you hear about this 4Extra guy with the firework incident where his hand might have gotten blown off or something like that? Did you hear about that?
Yeah. Y'all make me almost want to believe in karma. I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in karma. But boy, I guess you can still fight with some boxing gloves on with no fingers, right? I don't know if you're gonna be able to do that. I don't know how they're gonna be able to do that. Hopefully, he got some homeboys that's loyal to him that'll move when he say move, because he has been very controversial on YouTube. I actually kind of was entertained by him. Actually, kind of liked him. I thought he was a little too tough for his own good, with all of those antics. But I understand YouTube. I understand that's why people tune in and they liked him because of his tough talk. I actually liked seeing him come out when he got out of county jail and how he told us all of those fights and all those people he beat up. But hey, all I can say is he's the perfect example of why fireworks are illegal, especially M100’s. It wasn't even an M80. It was an M100, and that's tragic, man. I don't see. He said he still got two of his fingers. I don't see none. I don't see any. But hey, man, it's unfortunate. It's sad, but he was on YouTube, and he was threatening a whole bunch of people. So I hope his neighborhood have his back, and they don't just kick him to the curb, because wow, it's a sad, sad thing though. See that happen to a young man. Because actually, I'm telling you, he was actually entertaining on YouTube. But hopefully, wish him the best of recovery. We'll see. We'll see what Adam does to take care of him. I know they don't have no health insurance up there, but we'll see. We'll see if Adam continue to have him on the show, and if he'll be willing to come on the show and show his hands like that. But shout out for Extra. I guess karma might be real. Peace.
Okay, Reggie, did you see that video where Wack100 was doing a live stream and he grabbed his wallet and apparently you could see like a badge or something like that? Did you see that?
Man, yeah, I saw that. Man, Wack be trolling, y'all. He be trolling. And he good at getting content. Actually Wack came out this week, he came out to the beach house. Came to my wife, him and his lovely girlfriend or wife, R&B. They both came out, hung out with the family. Brought a nice gift for my wife and stuff. And they came out and hung out with us at the beach house. And he showed me the badge. He showed it. We both laughed. I mean, I knew what it was. I knew it was one of those badges that back in the day, a lot of y'all might heard how cops used to give family members and stuff business cards. Like if you get pulled over, show them this business card. And some cops honor it. Most don't, but some of them do. And that's all Wack had. He got a little badge he be walking around with. It's like he's a family member of a law enforcement official. But that's just Wack, man. Wack. Well, okay, if y'all believe he's a well, he could be an informant. I'm not saying he's that, but that's at most he can be. But to say he's an actual law enforcement man, Wack actually his record is actually expunged. To be honest, because how I know is because my wife did it. She did the expungement for him, but they still not gonna give you a job with all the bullshit he's done been involved in. He would never be more than an informant, and he's definitely not that, to my knowledge. I don't believe it. I know a lot of y'all do, but okay, that's y'all believe. He don't care if you do or don't, because he wouldn't be trolling you like he does. But and that was funny. That was funny. But I honestly believe, I don't know. He just showed me and pulled out the badge and said, look, this is what these motherfuckers saw, Rich. And I was laugh. And I swear to God, I put that on everything I love. I put that on my kids that he showed me that. And that's what type of badge it was. I'm glad it wasn't no actually police officer badge, because even that badge that he showed online one day that said police officer at the top, that is not the badge y'all saw. I don't know where he got that motherfucker from. But the one that he showed me that y'all saw online, I guarantee y'all that wasn't nothing but a friend of a family or a family member type identity to hopefully at worst get you some love if you get pulled over on a traffic violation. That's about it. All right.
On a serious note, Reggie, did you see where Suge accused you of trying to steal his publishing and create another company and all this stuff? Did you see those accusations?
And create another company. I don't know what she'll be saying these days, but is he saying on that music poster, on that Big Simon stuff? Or that Simon Says Music, the publishing company? What are you talking about on Death Row?
I think it was Simon Says, to be honest.
Oh, I got a document. I hate playing my cards and showing shit. Make sure you black out my signature, because I think got some things going on. But make sure you put his signature out there. And just show this agreement where he signed that stuff over to Reggie Wright. Or even if y'all don't want to believe it wasn't me, see where he signed that shit over. Check out this document. There's a very, very honorable person on YouTube. She's mad at me, very disappointed at me right now. His friend, attorney Jasmine Mines. Ask her, is this a legal document or not between Reggie and Shell? She'll tell you, because she's not going to lie for Reggie, and she won't lie for Shell. Okay? But hey, stuff like this is just stupid to argue or to debate. Both of us he got his money from it. I got money sitting over there. I can honestly say I ain't received a dime yet from it. But I got things working where I've been looking at houses around here. I think that one across the lot right there is under construction. My wife enjoyed this water and being around this so much. I might buy me one of these. I'm not coming down to Malibu, even though they building brand new ones there. Because all those fire victims, they going to be selling as soon as they get built. They may never even move in them. But I like being around. I think out here in Newport, blacks that I didn't know, think I only saw one. Everybody else, I knew. I like being around people that ain't black. Peace, Bumpers.